Hey, hey, welcome to the Sacred and Rooted podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Nickel. It's great to have you here. And before I get going, I just wanted to encourage you to like, share, subscribe, all the things to the podcast and its various episodes. It helps spread the word. And if you've enjoyed it, why not spread it? Also, before I forget, I am moving into a new phase of the podcast where I will actually have some real live guests on. And so, if you have any guests that you can think of that would be great to have on the podcast, then send me an email and I'd love to hear from you. It would be great to start, networking, to have other people on, to have, discussions about really all the interesting topics that have to do with like the mindset, spirituality, and just enjoying life, finding meaning in life, that kind of thing. So if you have any suggestions that come to mind, send me an email, lisa@lisanickel.ca. That will be in the show notes too if you can't remember it. Neither can I. Anyway, so this episode is all about how to maintain gratitude when things are tough. Because frankly, maintaining gratitude when things are great is pretty easy. We do not learn and stretch ourselves much in as much as we should in joy and ease. It's at times of crunchiness and restriction that really, show us what we've got. So, you could be the most brilliant gratitude girl, journaler, and maybe you have a bunch, you have a stretch of your life that just seems pretty even keeled, pretty no problem. Things are pretty, they're going up and up, and that's fine. And then you might hit a little rut in the road and think, good God, like, how could this happen? What's going on? And like, I was doing gratitude journaling this whole time. What the hell? And okay, so I'm just here to say that no matter whether you're doing gratitude or whatever, you're going to have ups and downs. Nobody gets out of this life without ups and downs. However, the gratitude comes in when you are, you sort of want an overarching theme to your life journey, if you want to call it that. And the overarching theme would be life is working for my highest good. And so gratitude is a way to reinforce in your mind that you've got good things going on. Even if you're going through a rough patch, even if, your loved ones died, you're getting a divorce, you're, whatever it is, like you lost your job, you're not sure, you're unemployed, whatever. There, the idea would be that you can always find something to be grateful for, and that um, energetic vibration sets you up for the next up level, for the next phase in your life. And frankly, it's way more interesting that way than thinking that every time something bad happens to you, that somehow you deserved it, somehow your life is in the shits now and there's nothing else you can do about it. Like, you want to be engaged in your life in an empowering way, and this is the way to do it. One part of many parts, but this is very fundamental to the idea that you're here to learn and grow. And the rules were not learn and grow only in times of good. They were, unfortunately, learn and grow through all of it. And so when the bad times hit, it's not like check out the gratitude journal, everything's useless and this is it. It's okay, here I am with my freaking gratitude journal, and I'm gonna double down on like what am I grateful for, regardless, in spite of, as well as feeling like shit in this other area, but to really be able to express and acknowledge the good that you have in your life, because everybody has good in their life. The fact that you're breathing can be your first step if you're just getting going. And so it's like, thank you for a new day. If you're going to do your gratitude journal in the morning, if you're doing it in the evening, thank you for the day. Something, it could be that. Thank you for another day. Thank you for a new day, whatever. And you can cultivate gratitude without journaling too, just to be clear. But the journaling's nice. It really, it's quick. You can just, you make a rule, whatever rule up you want. You can just say 3 things about the day that you're grateful for. And it can just be bullet points. It doesn't have to be some big long paragraph about, the whole story about something. It can just be, thank you for I'm grateful for another day. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for, the sun that was shining on my face as I walked to work. Whatever. I'm grateful for the smile that the stranger gave to me while I was in line at the cash. It literally can be anything. But just to start cultivating it, and I have to say, I don't religiously journal, but it is interesting to go back to your journals over the years and just read bits and pieces and see what was going on then. And the gratitude is a really short way to just see what was going on in that day, what was going on that week. In different phases in your life, you'll have different levels of gratitude. And so the journal is good. That's a good, solid start. You can cultivate gratefulness or gratitude with anything that comes into your life. I mean, at this point, I do it all the time in my mind. I'll just say a silent prayer of like, thank you. If something comes to me and I'm thinking, oh, that's wicked. Or, my kids come across an inspiration where they've like, they understood something, or they said something where I was like, oh, okay, you're really getting it. It's like, thank you. Like, I'll just say it quiet. I won't even say it. I like it's in my mind. But it's just like my, little head up to the air and just up to the sky and just like, thank you. Like, nice. That's really great. Or a nice time with friends at dinner, drinks with a girlfriend, any kind of anything. It's like, it's now my routine to just, if I'm noticing that I'm coming out of something and I'm like, oh, that was such a nice time. I feel refreshed. I feel invigorated. I feel inspired. I'll just sit there and think for a minute, like, oh, nice. That was really nice. Very, I'm grateful for that time that I had with whoever, that experience, whatever it was. And so that's a simple way to kind of just salt and pepper it all through your day. I do a lot of walks in the woods. I mean, not as many as I'd like, because I think when I'm retired, I'll probably do one every day. But it's when I get into the woods and I'm just walking and I'm listening to the birds chirp and I'm, talking to the trees and stuff. It's just so peaceful and so lovely. And it feels like an actual energetic exchange of some sort. And, and I walk out of there and I'm just more grateful. It feels like my life is more abundant when I have nature walks in my life. And so that can be an angle for you too. What activities do you do that make you feel abundant? Because that's essentially what gratitude is, right? It's like that feeling of like, I've got lots of love in my life. I've got joy in my life. I've got pleasure. It's like, thank you. This was great, And so think of the activities that you come away from and you just feel lighter. Lighter would be like more expansive. Those would be clues that you're like, okay, those are awesome. And so you want to cultivate that. You want to, first of all, acknowledge that you even enjoyed it. And then obviously your mind goes to like, how can I get more of that in my life, right? Because your mind is constantly like this database of, how can I make myself, you know, feel more abundant without necessarily going too far out of my comfort zone. But if I liked it and I did it, then I can do it again. And that would be just a safe and happy thing to do, right? So that sort of thing. So just, listening to really good music, talking to a friend, whatever. There's a million ways you can feel gratitude, but to also not just feel gratitude, but note it. So whether it's in a journal or whether it's just you looking up to the universe, like, thank you, that I really appreciated that. And that's it. So the other part to this, that would be sort of part one of how to maintain gratitude, in tough times. And so you're looking for the bright spots, basically, and that's what you're grateful for. And if you are in the midst of like a real huge crisis, your bright spots can be very basic. Like you're at the window today and you notice the sun shining off the snow. A bird came to your window. Like it can be a friend came to visit. It could just be like you had 10 minutes of sleep that wasn't a total nightmare. It could be anything. It could just literally be thank you for a new day. We'll see where this goes. Um, but you're still here. And so as long as you're here, it's a journey. And things will never stay the same. So you can rest assured that your shitty time, your dark night of the soul, however you want to think of it, there will be a new day that will actually be more light than dark. And so that's part of the second phase of this is to cultivate faith. And we do that through gratitude. Like gratitude is almost like a seed it's contagious. It grows. And so it's like the more we're looking for the good, the more good we will see. And the same is true for the bad. So you have a choice. We're always at choice. You can focus on the bad and look all over for it and find a whole bunch of evidence that everything is bad. Equally so, if you are looking for the good, you will find a whole bunch of evidence that there's lots of good in the world. And so the faith that you need to cultivate and to have starts with the gratitude practice. And it sort of blossoms and grows from there. And the idea isn't that you never have anything bad happen to you. There's no hard times. It's that in spite of and as well as a difficult phase, you can also feel joy. You can also feel happiness. You can also laugh at the same time as you might be feeling extremely upset. You may be feeling depressed. You may be angry. You can feel more than one feeling at a time. And because you may be going through a really difficult time does not mean um, that you have to only feel or be sad all the time. We are complicated people, and when we can have a moment of pleasure, when we can have a moment of joy, like take it. What the hell? And so the faith to know that life, like I said at the beginning, like if our life journey had a theme, it would be that we are here to learn and grow through it all. And so I constantly come back to the question, if I'm faced with something that's like, wow, this is difficult. Like this is gonna take a lot of patience, of friggin' emoting, of just like moving through some mud. And so my question to myself is always, what can I take from this? Like, what can I learn from this that I can use, that makes me wiser for some other next time? What can I learn from this that will give me a skill or a tool that I can use in the future that'll make this easier, next time, or a new thing will make it easier to deal with because I already know how to do that now. And so that's part of it where it's like you have the faith in knowing that this will not go on forever. And in the meantime, you're going to journal in your gratitude journal and know that you're taking, maybe you're putting your hands in the mud and you're taking out the gold bits, like you're taking out the stuff that you can reuse in the future and you're leaving the rest. You are not putting it in baggage to carry it around with you for the rest of your life. You're letting that kind of shake off of you as you go through it. You're moving that energy off your shoulders and you are taking the wisdom, you're taking the insights, you're taking the skills that you're learning to get through this current dark night of the soul or really hard time so that you are more able and easier. Not easier, I don't want to say easier, but like the next time some shit hits the fan, you're going to be like, okay, the faith will come easier because you know that everything is cyclical. We have ups and downs. There's no way around it. And so the more you go through it with that perspective, I guess, the more patience you have moving through the mud the next time, because you know that it's temporary. You know that you have things to learn and grow into through this time. And then, of course, there'll be like, a new day, or, it will not last forever. There'll be another phase that is a lot more enjoyable, right? And so that's the two pieces for gratitude, I think, as far as just getting through a tough time. Like, you really want to have a practice and double or triple or whatever down it. And just also have the faith, have the curiosity to be like, okay, I'm in this, shitty time. It's uncomfortable. It's asking me to do things I'm not even sure I know how to do or I'm capable of, but I'm here for it. And I'm going to learn as much as I can out of this experience to, give myself more tools and more resources for the future. And so with that, I also want you to ask yourself, who do you hang out with? Seriously, who do you hang out with? Like, because we are all influenced by our environments, right? And so it's so critical to our outlook and our resilience to be around people that help us see, the light at the end of the tunnel, help us, encourage us, or reinforce, or do other practices with us to really bring us through. And they are people you can be grateful for. But if you are, if you think of, there's that saying where it's like the top 5 people you hang out with are, that's basically who you are. Because you're influenced heavily by people you hang out with. And so who are the people you're hanging out with? And if we are going to accept that we are influenced by the people we hang out with, then let's start being a little pickier maybe with the people we hang out with about who they are. And so if you want to build like almost like a team or a posse of your friends and family and coworkers, like, who are your community of peeps that actually show up for you and help you through hard times, bring you the meals when you're not feeling like cooking, because your husband died, or, your kid's in the hospital and you need that extra support. And so then, you want the people that are going to infuse you with gratitude, with the perspective that, you'll get through this. You have got what it takes to get through this. And those are the people that you want to foster deeper relationships with in your life. And maybe some of the other people that are not quite as, influence you in the other way, where it's like, oh yeah, man, wow, I don't know how you're going to get through that. Like, that's impossible. And just kind of bringing you down. Maybe you spend less time with them. Maybe you just see them in social settings where there's many people around, and so you don't um, get directly influenced by them. Maybe you don't even have them in your life at a certain point. But to ask yourself to just be curious, like there's no shame or judgment. Like all of the friends we've ever had in our life are not meant to be our friends the entire way through our life. Because we all should be growing and evolving. And so, geez, like the friend you had in grade 6 might not resonate with you anymore in the same way that you did back in grade 6, because that was like your priorities are totally different. So to just be easy with yourself, but to get curious on how people are influencing. Like, how do you feel after talking to a friend on the phone, or your family comes over and you know, are you feeling kind of supported, energized, you know, optimistic, or is it just like one giant energy suck? And no matter what's going on with you, they always want to turn it on to themselves and turn, the attention back to them. Um, those maybe consider where what level of importance you want to give them in your life. I'm not saying that you have to cut them out, because depending on who they are, that may not be an option for you. But you definitely want to like prioritize in the degree that you want them to influence you. And so you want the positive, you know, growth oriented, even like people that are also moving and changing and growing. You want that energy around you. You do not want the stagnant, this is just how it is because that's how it is. Like that kind of stuff you want to stay away from, or bring it more to the periphery than maybe you have in the past. And that will help you shore up your gratitude when, for life in general, when things, maybe there's a part of your life that is going through the ringer right now. Um, but thank God, nothing stays the same. So good, bad, or ugly, there's, it's always changing. And so life can change on a dime, for the good, for the better, for the worse, for anything. And so it'll change again. It'll change again. It's just the cycle of life. That's too bad that we don't have the actual time frames for anything, but maybe that would, well, I don't think we'd really want to know that either. That would just be give all the surprises away. Anyways, so I hope that it gives you some food for thought, if nothing else, and just, some ideas on how you can bolster up your gratitude if you're feeling kind of like a little less than authentic with your gratitude these days, or in this phase of your life where it's just like, I don't know, I'm at a loss for gratitude. You can start super small. And you can also voice memo. I do that sometimes, and it's really interesting to listen back to what I said on whatever given day. Um, Same as the journal, where like it's kind of fun to read it back after a year or two or whatever it is, to just get the kind of energy for that time and see how far you came. See how far you've come, because we don't look back sometimes and give ourselves credit for how far we come in a year or two or even 6 months. And so that helps the walk forward feel a little lighter when we can see, oh, yeah, I have made some strides here. Like I've been trying to implement these things, and they're actually, I can see the difference. I can feel the difference. I can, I'm getting through it, and I'm just going to keep getting through it, because that is what life is about, right? And to get through it with your loved ones, with the people that support you, and your own gratitude practice for your own mental health, really is what it's for. It's to just keep the mind churn of crap to more of a minimum. And so the gratitude just injects your mind with, oh yeah, don't forget the good parts. You know what I mean? Because we can sit and think about the bad parts in perpetuity, it would seem at times. Just speaking for myself, but also I know it's not, it's just so common. It's insane. And so to just retrain and re-inject with like, here's the good parts of the day. And that was pretty great. And thank you for that experience. And then thank you for a new day when you get up in the morning. All right. I hope you have a beautiful day. I will see you on the next episode of the podcast. Take care.